I like wiped the tear and took my hand away and my entire hand was blood. Hello. This is going to be a pretty short video because I have my son with me and I don't have anywhere to put him right now. I really wanted to kind of explain what happened to my face in a little bit more detail than I did on Instagram. So now I only have one shift until I move to California at my current job, and I had 2 more shifts at that time. I was working Sunday night. I originally, when I started at this job, worked weekend nights. So my original preceptor was a weekend night person. At the end of the shift, it was like 7:05. I wanted to take a picture that I could post and kind of talk about how helpful they were and how great they were for me at this job. I had someone watch my patient so I could run over to postpartum where they both were. I got over there, I found one of them, and I asked her if I could take a picture with her, and I did. That's this picture. And then I was looking for my old preceptor, and she was in the break room. She had just taken a phone call. I walked in there as she was getting off the phone, and I said, let's take a picture together. She was like, okay. So I walked up to her as if we were going to take the picture, and at the last second, I flipped my hair down like this. Flipped it down to kind of shake it and fluff it up. I did it really hard, really flipped my head down to shake it. And at the same time, I didn't realize this, but she had reached out to hug me or kind of put her arms around me for a picture. So I didn't realize her arm was outstretched with her phone in her hand. So kind of her arms going out and me throwing my head down super hard came together, and the corner of her phone hit my eyebrow. It hurt, but not extremely bad. It was kind of one of those things when you get hit and it sort of sinks, that sinking feeling, but I thought it would sort of go away. So it hit, I grabbed my face and I was like, I'm so dumb, I'm sorry. And she was laughing and she was like, oh my gosh, I hate you, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, no, it was me. I threw my face into your phone. It didn't really hurt that bad. It was stinging and I was kind of rubbing it, waiting for it to start lightening up. When you stub your toe, it hurts really bad, but then it starts to get better. And it kind of wasn't getting better. And so I was just standing there holding it and I was like, whew. And she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. And I looked at her with my hand over my eye and she screamed. She was like, oh my God. And that is never what you want to hear after you hit your face. I felt like my eye was watering. It felt like my eye was just tearing. I wiped the tear and took my hand away and my entire hand was blood. And I was stunned. I didn't think that anything had been bleeding. I was hoping it wasn't my eye bleeding. So I put my hand back and she was, rightfully freaking out. I was keeping real calm because I knew if we were both panicking, that wouldn't help. So I told her, I was like, get me some paper towels. So she did, and we held it. And I was so concerned about the blood all over the floor because there was a ton of blood on the floor at this point. There was hydrogen peroxide wipes in there, and I'm like, we gotta clean this up before someone comes in here and accidentally walks through it. So she's wiping up the blood off the floor. I'm holding the paper towel to my eye. And at this point, my friend that I had just taken the picture with comes in because she had heard all the commotion. She ran to get washcloths with ice in them. So when she came back, we traded out my paper towel and we put a washcloth on. This washcloth became completely soaked with blood. Just a really good time. Well, then it had been enough time that I'm like, I need to go back. I need to go back to my patient. Day shift is going to be here any minute. I need to give a report and I need to get out of here. So I start walking back to labor right as day shift is coming out. Of course, everybody's like, oh my God, because I'm holding this bloody rag to my face with blood all over my face and arm. And I just needed to get back to labor. I needed to give report and get out of there. I was kind of probably internally panicking a little bit. I just walked by them all and I was like, I'm fine, and got back to labor. My friend had beat me over there at this point. So they were getting Dermabond tubed up from the main OR to try and help me by gluing it. We had our scrub tech look at it and she was like, you're gonna need stitches. This is too deep for Dermabond. They put me in a room and we cleaned it up with saline and they were all just saying, yeah, it's way too deep. We waited for one of our OB residents to come. She took one look at it and was like, yeah, you need to have plastics stitch that. So at this point, I'm just really having a great time. It's hurting. My whole head is hurting because I've hit so hard. I just felt really out of it and I just wanted to leave. I gave a report on my patient and then another nurse walked me down to occupational health. They did my vitals and they looked at it, kind of cleaned it. So they sent me over to the ED. I waited for an hour at the emergency department. They took me back. They kind of looked at it. At this point, it's bleeding again. It kept reopening up. So it's bleeding all over. I've got all this bloody gauze that I'm holding to my face. No, you're gonna come sit with me?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the attendings down there came over and she looked at it and she said she felt very comfortable stitching it and that she thinks she could do a really good job because my eyebrow was no longer aligned, which was like a big concern. If they didn't stitch it right, my eyebrow wouldn't be aligned anymore. So she did like 4 or 5 shots of lidocaine in my face, which hurt so bad. Like I knew it was gonna hurt, but it hurt so bad. Ugh. That was probably the worst part. It just burned and my face was already so sore and bruised. But obviously once that set up, it was really numb. Woo. So then she started stitching. I did not feel a thing. It probably took about 10 minutes for her to stitch it. She put 4 stitches in and she kind of left them not super tight so that it wouldn't cause like a rippling effect with my eyebrow. But afterwards she was looking at it and she said that she's pretty confident there will be a scar and that there will be at least some gap in my eyebrow. Just how deep the cut was, it was hard to bring it together. I do feel like she did a really, really good job and she took her time doing it and went really slow and was trying to perfectly line up my eyebrow. I told her like she was really pretty and I'm like, do whatever you would do with your face, you know, if it was you. And she's like, okay, like I'm gonna be real careful with it. And I believe her. Like she took a really long time to do it. Like I'm sure she could have thrown in 4 stitches super quick, but she really was like lining up the hair follicles and stuff. Like she did a really good job. Once she was finished stitching it, she left the stitches a little long because she said I could take them out myself in 10 days, which is nice because the wait in the emergency department is always really long. But then Micah picked me up because I was really just kind of feeling out of it. I had been awake for about... What is that?
Mama.
And?
Baby.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. At that point, Micah picked me up because I was feeling really out of it. I'd been awake for like 30 hours at that point. 30, not 3. I was so tired, so he picked me up and we got Chick-fil-A. I went home and I fell asleep around like 11:30. I woke up at 6 p.m. I was super tired and I actually then was only awake for a little bit, made dinner and slept from probably 1 in the morning until noon. I was so tired after working and being in the emergency department. When I woke up this morning, I definitely noticed that I'm getting a pretty significant black eye. I'm not sure if it'll get better or worse as time goes on, but it really hurts. Like my whole face hurts really bad. It hurts kind of wrapped all the way around, but feeling really out of it has been weird. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that. All in all, my own stupid fault, not anybody else's fault. I just really, it's so on brand for me. I can't believe that I threw my head down so hard that just the combination of my brow bone hitting the phone at that speed just popped my skin open that deep. I would show a picture. I have lots of pictures of it, but I don't want to violate YouTube's terms of service and it is pretty gross. If you want to see pictures of it, you can message me on Instagram and I'll send them to you. It's super deep and it was really gross. Doing a lot better. It's all stitched up. This is after I just cleaned it today. So that's kind of like a scab forming, I think, a little bit. I'm hoping it heals well. I got about 270 messages within the first hour that I posted something on Instagram and I quickly realized that I can't reply to everybody. I figured this was an easier way to sort of update everyone on what really happened. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go put some ice to my face. I will see you guys next time. Bye.